Hi students, this is Dr. T. This short video is going to be talking about how you organize a longer paper as opposed to a short answer essay. And so in many of my classes I'm having students write blog essays, and so those are short answer essays that are just about one paragraph long. A lot of times you write short answer essays for blogs, for in-class assignments, on exams. And so on a short answer essay, you're condensing your introduction, your main points, and your conclusion. Okay, so for a short answer essay, right, you have your introduction, which is usually just 1 or 2 sentences long. So you are quickly letting people know what your essay is about and mentioning the main points you're going to discuss. And then you have a main point. And sometimes an essay will only have one main point, and then you're using the entire essay to back up or discuss that one main point. Sometimes you'll have 2 main points, sometimes 3. Usually you won't have more than 2 or 3 in a short answer essay because you only have a little bit of space. So in this example, I'm just going to have 2 main points. And so my main point, I would mention what it is. Okay, and then I would need to back up that main point with a few sentences to explain or defend that main point. So then I would have a second main point, and same thing, you would need 2, 3, maybe 4 sentences to explain and back up that main point. And then you always want to have a concluding sentence. Your conclusion is usually just 1 sentence, maybe a couple of sentences. So as you can see here, I am condensing my introduction, my main points, my information, and my conclusion into 1 paragraph. There might be times where you write a short answer essay and it is a couple of paragraphs long, but usually beyond that it becomes a paper and is no longer a short answer essay. Okay, so now the main thing I want to talk about is how you then organize a longer paper. And I know for a lot of students this is pretty basic information, but a lot of times students, they mess up the organization of a longer paper because they're still thinking as if they're writing a short answer essay. So if in a short answer essay our introduction is just 1, maybe 2 sentences long, for a longer paper our introduction now becomes its own entire paragraph. Okay, so your introduction is now several sentences, and in that introduction you are setting up your topic, you are letting people know what your thesis is, and you are mentioning the main points of your paper. Okay, so on a short answer essay, a main point may only be a couple of sentences long, but in a longer paper, now you need to separate out your main points into a new paragraph. Okay, so this is 1 paragraph right here. This is now your second paragraph. So you bring up your main point, you discuss it, you give examples, you give information. If research is required, you include research to back up that main point. Okay, and then we have a second main point. So this now becomes a new paragraph. And so same thing, we now have an entire paragraph that is backing up and explaining that main point. Obviously in a longer paper, we're having more information, more examples, more research than in a short answer essay, because in the short answer essay, we only have limited space. But in a longer paper, we're expanding everything. So now finally we get to the conclusion. And over here, the conclusion is just 1 sentence long, but in a longer paper, the conclusion is its entire paragraph. Okay, so we have several sentences here. And a conclusion for a longer paper can say a little bit more. It can wrap up the main points, remind people of the thesis. Sometimes some conclusions will include a little bit of research, but that really isn't necessary. But the main point here is to remember that in a short answer essay, your introduction, your main points, and your conclusions are all being compressed into 1, maybe 2 paragraphs. But when we're writing a longer paper, and a longer paper might be 2 pages long, it might be 5 pages long, it might be 20 pages long, But when we get to longer paper, we have to start separating everything out. Your introduction is its entire paragraph, each main point has its own paragraph, and your conclusion is its main paragraph. Okay? So that's just a reminder as you write papers in this course and in other courses, your brain has to switch between the organization for a short answer essay or the organization for a longer paper. And that will help you write better papers and get better grades.